Alright guys, here we're to talk about Season 2, Episode 15 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Phases. Like the moon.
Knowing the titles would always help me. I never know the titles.
Yeah, well, there's a reason they don't put it in front of the episode. Because who
to
wants to spoil the twist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would give away a lot of things in a lot of episodes. It's nice to look back on the episode name.
I would have never known them.
Well, this episode, obviously, is a werewolf episode.
This is the werewolf episode.
It is.
I think I might have seen this episode, because I kept having weird, flashbacks, I know this. And spoiler alert for myself, in the past, I knew he was a werewolf. Mm-hmm. I just, was like, I don't know when that happens, or maybe throughout, I've been like, are you a werewolf the whole time? Because he said certain comments, they're like vampires, demons, it's all real. He's like, it makes a lot of sense. I'm like, aha, werewolf, that's why. And now it's like, no, okay, good. Whatever.
But even in his how he took that, makes a lot of sense. He took this really I'm naked in the woods.
Huh. Yeah.
This is day 2 of this happening. I should already have known this is happening.
His fucking I was just like, that's amazing. That's why he gets Seth Green, because he's 4 feet tall. You never suspect him of being the werewolf. They actually call out that he's 6 feet tall. It makes perfect. It's like the perfect crime. And because once you find out, he's like, and it's this hilarious. No,
it's great. He calls his aunt. He's like, hey, no, I'm fine. No reason. Is Jordy a werewolf?
Hey, okay. And how long has that been going on? What family does he come from that you can call and ask that?
It was so nonchalant.
I wanted to ask you something. Is Jordy a werewolf? Uh-huh. And how long has that been going on?
What's happening?
There's no immediate, oh no, is the curse upon you now too?
Well, we couldn't hear her side of the conversation.
Well, so she didn't rush over.
No, it's probably just a quick thing.
What kind of aunt is this?
Yeah. No, that alone, where I'm like, that must just be some hilarious solution to their problem that they came up with, right? Because I think that they wanted to tie that into the funny, I know your pain, man. My cousin bit my finger the other day.
Yeah. Well, that is the out front explanation. You knew right there going into it. He was bit.
I've been there, man. My cousin Jordy just got his grown-up teeth in. It's not like to be tickled.
But that's ridiculous that made him a werewolf, and that he can call his extended family and just casually drop, is he a werewolf? And they must have been like, oh yeah, and he's like, huh, and that's the whole explanation.
I love the competing is bite on the finger, 37 stitches. I'm like, 37 stitches, my God, that dog got a hold of you.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
What happened? Last week, some huge dog jumped out of the bushes and bit me. 39 stitches. They gotta shoot those strays.
Was that supposed to be the werewolf, or now that that's just a dog?
No, that was the throw it off. Just so you could have that interesting thing with Xander finding out that he was gay.
Yes. That whole thing is what it is. But in my head, I was like, how long ago did that happen? When did he become a werewolf? What's going on or whatever? Yes.
I like that a lot, actually.
What?
The school bully, school jock. He's been overcompensating this whole time and trying to be extra manly, so no one would know. Oh, I slapped girls' books out of their hands so I could look at their buttocks.
Oh, thank you, Thigh Master!
And then we have character growth, because at the end, he helps the girl pick up her books.
Exactly.
Instead of looking at her caboose. What was I going to say? Something else funny.
Badunkadunk.
Her donkey donk badunkadunk. This is great, and I love this because this is another arrow in my quiver for whenever anybody says, everything's too woke now, and I'll be like, Buffy was 100 years ago, all right? We were all 5 years old. It was 50 years ago, and this was having gay shit and characters that. It was totally normal.
Well, I think this show had the first gay kiss.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Breaking new ground.
I think so. I could be wrong about that, but I think so.
Yeah.
At least the first one I remember.
But nobody was like, oh, this new Buffy fucking show, it's nothing like the movie. They made it all woke now, it sucks. No, it's fine. It's just, no, this has been happening forever.
This show touched on a lot of hot button issues across the board, and it's a fantastic thing. But this particular episode, so we get Xander and Cordelia in the car. They're having a little bit of a thing. Just shut up, stop talking about Willow, because now that he doesn't have the access to what he could have had all along, he wants it.
I love the development here where she's now nonstop complaining about his nonstop ranting about these other women that are in his life and stuff.
Do you even want to be here?
I'm not running away.
Because when you're not babbling about poor, defenseless Willow, you are raving about the all-powerful Buffy.
I do not babble.
So it's
It is
this
a thing he
weird-
does.
Yes, but it's this great thing where like it's not like he's happy with this like popular hot girl. He's
No.
also like, I hate this, and she's like, no one can know about this. I hate like everyone hates
Xander
everything.
is never
It's,
happy
like,
with
so
hot girls.
good.
It's
But everyone hates everything, which is great. That's
Yeah.
how things should be.
no, it's wonderful. They get attacked in the car by Oz, of all people here,
Yes.
and it's a pretty great werewolf effect.
Yeah.
I love whenever you have the extended face werewolf, the like wolf man hybrid. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of when it's a wolf. I'm not a big fan of when it's like just a guy. But right here,
Just a hairy guy.
We-
just whatever.
yeah. But right here we do it really well.
There's
it's a great.
when he runs into Angel later, there's some great
Yeah.
facial articulation and
Mm-hmm.
stuff where I was like, oh, they must want to they must plan to use this this again later. Because they've invested quite a lot, into this thing.
I assume it's a rental thing. I always wonder with these things. I remember like back in the day reading a lot of things about gorilla things. It's like, oh no, like some dude would make an amazing gorilla suit and then rent out his services to all these movies. I assume the same is true with a lot of creature
Like whoever
things.
owns the Batmobile just keeps doing.
Well,
something.
that's not exactly the same, but yes.
I'm just
yes.
saying. No, I don't know how TV works or whatever.
yeah, I'm
'cause
not sure.
People talk about bringing props home, right? I don't know if this was someone else's or this is a thing with the thing, but whatever. Yeah.
Because you usually see like when they do like behind the scenes at a creature house, you're like, oh, that's this from that and this thing, and
Yeah.
like, did they use that in a bunch of stuff? Is that like in some English television show? Is that in? Are they in Australia like just pimping this thing? Not sure. But I
gives them
really
that
do
value.
appreciate this werewolf.
No, it was
I like a lot.
unusually good because I was
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be this or whatever, and then it keeps getting shown more and more, doing more and more things. There's like a chase scene later, there's all this different stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's cool. We're doing a cool werewolf thing. There's
Very.
a whole morphing sequence where he's
Yeah.
changing to and from, and you see like the hand.
They
like,
do
doing the
heavily
thing.
rely on that couch blocking that shot,
Yes.
but it's pretty good.
No, but that's for the humor too. Because
Yeah.
like as an audience member, you're like, move faster! What are you doing? Hello, Oz? Hello? She's like slowly
yeah,
approaching.
yeah.
It's amazing.
What's
Yes.
going on? Dude, totally oblivious. But Willow in this one is like so thirsty for Oz.
It's great.
She wants it. She wants those smoochies. She's what does she say? Like, I'm DTF. No, I'm good to go. She says GTF, good to go.
She is DTF.
She
AF.
is. But yeah.
No, but she is. She's like, I don't know what he's waiting for. He has to stop waiting. She's like super into
Yeah.
it. And yeah, she like works up the nerve to go over there and like confront him and just grab him and shake him and be like, dude, what are we?
Yes.
And he's like, now's not a good time. He's like, I'm werewolf. It's
You picked the worst time
wonderful.
possible.
The full moon, like really bad.
We're all
timing.
going through changes, Oz.
Well, welcome to the world. Things happen. Don't you think I'm going through a lot?
Well, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
you think you're so special? You think
Yeah.
your changes are so much more important than everyone else's? And it's like, starts doing his thing.
Yeah, but like Willow let love like make her dumb.
Yeah,
like
right.
she put her foot in her mouth with Buffy pretty hard. Like,
that was
I don't want
awesome.
to be the only one without a boy. Like,
That was awesome. too.
yeah. Oh, ooh, the cringe was real. But like
Yes.
everyone's put their foot in their mouth like that at some point, and I
Yeah.
think they handled it well. Sometimes you can really feel those telegraphed like lines and the way they deliver things like that in shows is like, oh, okay, so that didn't work. I think this played.
This one worked a lot
Yes.
because I didn't really like. Not that I didn't notice or know, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that they were even going to address it. I figured this show because like I keep thinking about this, but I forget to mention it. Buffy was like Omega grounded for life, and then
Yeah.
like the next episode they were just like whatever again. She
Well,
was running around out there.
We don't know how much time is between episodes.
Yes, but when you end it with her being grounded for life, it implies to me that now they'll like pick up on that. But now she's just like everything's fine again, and they're never gonna mention that or whatever. So like yes,
Yeah.
things happen. So I just figured Willow will just get to deliver that line and with no consequences. But it was awesome to have like she's like oh sorry and stuff.
I was hoping you're like time goes by, no consequences. I assumed Angel was just her boyfriend again.
Yes.
That would have been.
I assume they've patched things up.
Are they not good?
He's out there. He's meeting her friends.
Well, yes, and I do love in this episode
great.
that like the only person that doesn't get killed is by Angel.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, Angel killed this person, and turned them and
Angel
sends
sends
them with a
love.
message. You're like,
Yeah.
what the hell? He's sending messages now.
Exactly.
He does come off as a suave dude. He
Yeah.
slid right in. Oh, let me walk you home.
I'll get you home.
It can be
Like,
really
what? Who the hell are
It
you?
can be really scary around here at night. Yes.
Yeah, in this beautiful suburb.
And he's doing the old like, oh, do you know Buffy? And she's like, oh, you know Buffy?
Yeah.
Ah, that's good. It's like stranger danger from this like time period
Mm-hmm.
when someone's like, if they say they know your mom, don't believe them, right? If they say they know your vampire slayer, do not believe them.
Believe them.
Yes.
Did you think
He has, to,
so?
he has to know the safe word.
There's a part there where they meet Kane, this werewolf hunter.
Hate Kane.
Yeah,
can go fuck.
Who would like Kane? Kane's the worst.
That's beautiful. This is what happens when a woman tries to do a man's job.
But
Take him out of the episode.
like it seemed like they took personally how he was like, it's a man's work, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like even says like we're here to fight to hunt werewolves. Before that was addressed that there are werewolves or whatever. I'm like, lady, stop tipping your hand.
No,
what are
like
you doing?
like it felt out of order and weird. Where like you don't need like she doesn't know that like. There should have been some.
He could have just been a deer hunter or a crazy person. Like
there should have been some recognition that they are both patrolling for the supernatural.
Yeah.
Which I guess was meant to have happened, but I had the same reaction where I'm like, why are you going to that? Make up an excuse, right? Yeah.
Well, and his I would love to if he was a fake werewolf hunter.
Great.
Because he calls out his ring of teeth there. He's like, I've killed 11. This is my 12th one. And like. When they died, as far as all the myths have told me, they turn back into a person.
Well, he is though, because he skins them.
That seems like a lie.
Well,
that's why I'm saying.
You can't use other materials I keep wanting to say vampire for everything on this show, but you can't use other werewolves from like other shows. You have to use these werewolves.
Yes.
Which we don't know yet, and the only reliable witness says that he skins them. So I'm believing that for now.
I would have liked him to be an unreliable witness.
Yeah.
Because something else that like made me like, what the fuck? He's like in his like van with his like gear, and he's making silver bullets, on like moon 3 of 3, and I'm like, shouldn't he have made these the day before the first moon? Why is he making bullets at night now?
It's just to get the stupid Monster Squad shot of like the pressing.
I
and
guess.
Like, ding.
I hate that shit.
No, the whole thing sucks because he's totally out of place because he gets put up as this like why do they care? Like how many sexist weirdos have been on the show where now this is like a big deal and he keeps showing up and like ruining stuff, but really if he wasn't there it wouldn't have mattered at all. They took care of everything. She bends his gun like Superman. I don't like that either. I don't know what's going on there.
She's super strong.
It's fine. I know, but like, what have you?
His gun was weird. Where like the eyepiece, I don't know if it was just the angle, but every time they showed it, it looked like that was a solid piece. Like there was not glass. It looked like it was just black.
Well, it's a prop, yes.
Well, yes, but she does bend it.
Are you saying that it shouldn't look like one? Because I agree.
Every now and again.
No, the whole Kane thing. I hope Kane never comes back. I don't like this guy at all. He was dumb. It'd be a good Deus Ex Machina to like show up hunting something that's hurting them or vice versa and like causing issues where there shouldn't be or something like that. But just like he's
not featured enough in this episode to even be in this episode. Like you did not need to. Like what purpose did he serve? Right. None.
No.
You could have just cut him out and had a few more funny quips with the people we like.
Like he's not a foil to their plan, and he doesn't provide them additional information. Like
doesn't save the day. He does nothing.
Like would you read that in a book? I've been out there actually hunting them. You gotta do like this. Like I guess he says like they want to go where it's horny and stuff, so that's something. But like that he should have served some more of a purpose.
Giles, how he takes that insinuation that like you're out here with this young girl.
Yes.
Oh.
I gotta say, I'm impressed.
Excuse me?
Well, it's good to get the fruit while it's fresh.
You'd be wise to take that back.
He has a couple of moments where I'm like, you're an actor.
Tough job.
Like, yeah, him getting like, like, fuck you, don't say that kind of stuff about her. Oh, catch my left hand. And when he's giddy about the idea of learning about werewolves.
Yes.
Yes, I must admit, I am intrigued. Werewolves, it's one of the classics. I'm sure my books and I are in for a fascinating afternoon.
I love that too because seemingly he had no knowledge whatsoever in his brain about werewolves because he's like, oh, it appears not just on one day of the moon. I feel like that should be
I've never heard that before.
I guess. Okay. If you are a person that is a watcher, you went to school in England about paranormal shit, you'd think day one, like Werewolf 101 shit would be just in your peripheries.
No, werewolves are like rare or something, or that's like Bush League shit. He's not into that. He skipped right to like the summoning demons to get high phase. And he doesn't watch television, so he's never seen like a werewolf movie. So this is all new to him. He gets it's like he explained it with more words in a globe. He has the lamp and he's moving the moon and the sun and the earth around.
Oh, it's great. It makes you brave to your base instincts. So like a man, I'm like, let's not attack a whole gender.
And he goes, he or she, or thing, whatever. Yes.
Teresa, be still my shorts.
We're in the same group.
I may have to attack you.
Speaking of Giles being giddy, though, something I did not like was how giddy he gets. Xander makes like a moon pie joke.
Yeah.
And Giles like,
Moon pie.
and does this long, weird, like I was like, is there a missing
I
piece
expected
of
there
this?
was something that got
is
cut out
happening?
there,
Yes.
because like there should have been like, oh, I get that joke. I used to eat moon pies. Like something was
yeah.
needed to cap that joke off,
Right.
and we didn't get it. And that's not a callback or anything. So I was like,
Right.
what is that?
Don't let him get to you. He's not the same guy you knew.
But speaking of callbacks, we do have Oz opens this episode looking at, oh, the eyes follow you wherever you go.
That's the fucking witch that was
love
her
it.
own mom, right?
Indeed.
That's great.
This cheerleading trophy. It's like its eyes follow you wherever you go. I like it.
We call back to things.
There's another callback in this episode.
Besides the hyena or the hyena?
The hyena.
The hyena.
Yes.
And Buffy even said, dude, that scene's awesome because Buffy's like, you said you didn't remember that. And then Giles is in the back like,
You said you didn't remember anything about that.
I said I didn't remember anything about that.
Well,
doing this weird
even
look.
Xander's like,
It's
I
awesome.
said I didn't remember any of that.
yes, moving on.
He even remembers things he wasn't there for, because he's like, I remember the taste of living flesh or whatever. It's like, you were locked in a cage when they ate
It had a
that.
hive mind, this hyena
Actually,
hive mind.
he could have been talking about the pig. Okay, he was there for something.
Listen, I don't know. But I love Giles in the background while Xander's saying that, just looking like, ooh, like fuck, like waiting for something to happen. And then when Xander starts to move on, he goes, oh, okay, and starts to like read his book again. It's like really good. It's very subtle. I don't know if it's even intentional, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Anthony Stewart Head. He brings it.
Hey! Whoa. Whoa. Hands are good right about there.
Who are you? What are you doing?
I love that Cordelia and Willow are just rampant and dishing about like fuck boys, in particular Xander. What a chump ass.
And he gets that face like he smells something. Yeah, and they're just like, ugh.
Xander's realizing that's happening. Is like, oh god, those two being friends, that can't be good.
It's like time to panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, those two gals are hanging out a lot together. This would be a good time to panic.
No, like the reveal of that, where like Cordelia's just like dishing and venting, and oh my god, sometimes I feel like I don't even exist, and then leans back and she's venting to Willow.
Yes.
Who her whole thing is she's like he doesn't know I exist.
No, it's
and
very
this stupid
nice.
thing. It's like, oh, it's great. Yeah.
Buffy did this, Willow said that. Buffy, Willow. It's like I don't even exist.
I sometimes feel like that.
Which then I think gets interrupted badly by a werewolf bursting into the bronze. Routinely we have things where I'm like, there is no going back from this.
Who do they think they are?
A couple of guys.
Everyone knows werewolves are real.
All things are real. Something has to be on the news. Like, terrorist struck with a bazooka. Oh, we got giant man-shaped wolves. Like, there should be things. Something should happen. A task force should be assigned.
We just cut to the principal. Meth heads. Yes, meth heads.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But in
That's
that
all
situation, it would be
happens.
like, all of you kids at the bronze are on meth.
Meth heads. Sorry, meth heads.
It's ridiculous.
No, because like again, like they'll never address this. I assume it's just like a funny TV thing. But that's my understanding. Is like, this whole like if I was just watching this show, like if I was stranded on like a desert island, I'd be like, oh, it's not a real town. It's like it's like a test facility. It's some sort of crazy, because of those dumb random comments the principals and the cop made to each other. I'm like, they know what's going on. The whole thing is contrived. This is all a setup.
It just feels like they went so long with everything being like, oh, that's hush hush, it's happening there. No one saw. We did this. So the person that saw died. Like, and now it's just like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, it does seem like they've turned a corner on that, caring about things.
And like, it's still funny and good. So like, I don't care, but I have to like be like, did you know? Like, what was your intention here? Because you could have just had this happen outside of the bronze, and it would have been just as effective. There was no need for werewolf to get thrown through the window at the bronze. Like, that didn't make or break the scene.
Can't pull off a thing now later where we have to hide something or like they will, I assume, but it will feel more weird of like, like everyone has to get knocked out again, gas leak, and do some bullshit where it's like, this was never an issue, this was not an issue at the mall, there were 50 people there who saw some horrible shit happen, and blah blah.
You weren't arrested.
No, right.
for murder or terrorism.
You're not wanted by the police. There was no shot of you going to the police station and either killing them or slipping memory loss stuff into their drinks or something. Because other shows have ways of dealing with this.
Yeah.
Where they do weird stuff to
I wouldn't mind Giles cooking up a concoction that, they all can't remember. Or he reads the morning announcements at school and it blanks everyone's memory.
And it's actually a spell. It's like a memory regression spell.
Something.
And you're like, holy shit. Yeah, and like that's dumb too. And like maybe it's
But
fine
at least
anyway.
it's someone trying to explain things with words.
Yes.
And that's all I ever really care. Just try.
Where someone would, because you're right, a lot of the earlier ones, it's like, well, that place burned down, or that place is a weird bomb shelter, bar, play. Like, there's other reasons for things, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's just like, this was in public. This is at the place you always go. This isn't like some other place where you can be like, that place is crazy.
So Oz transforms in Willow takes off out the back door.
Great scream, by the way. From
Willow. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like she gets over the fence and like takes a trash can and just wails a werewolf with a trash can. And I'm like, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
You don't get that every day.
No.
I think that in general the stuff there was pretty good. She shoots Oz with that tranquilizer gun.
Yeah, this is more of like giving everybody something to do, kind of, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of pratfally and weird because like Buffy falls into Giles, knocks him over and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. And Giles is like squinting, like I'm gonna shoot him and stuff, and then Willow grabs it.
Because who knows if he even has more than one shot. So like him hesitating could not just be like, I don't want to hit Buffy. It's like I have to hit Oz.
Well, if he hits Buffy like passes out and they're fucked, right too.
Yeah.
Yes. While he's reloading.
But if he had if it was a quick, but I don't think it is.
No.
Because where do you even get where do you even get the gun, let alone the tranquilizer dart?
Enough to do up an elephant.
Yeah.
And that gun's probably useful in like a lot of cases, both past and future, whatever.
It does seem like there should be like a chest of supplies that comes from like the Watchers Council constantly that never does come. Because like it shouldn't be like, oh, we're dealing with blah blah, bring us da da da, and like choo-chee, like a thing pops up and they get some stuff. Like
your holy water grenades.
Something. There has to be someone working on tech.
If none of that works, I think I may have an alternative.
Yeah, me and the werewolf alone in a cage for 3 minutes. That's all I ask.
But yeah, so then we get back to the thing, and you have like Xander having like an existential crisis over, I don't know, oh God, how will I go on? I can't see him in the hallway. How will I look at him? And like Buffy is talking back, well, he's still a person, isn't that? Like, wait, who are you talking about? Because one is talking about Oz being a vampire. I keep saying vampire. Oz being a werewolf.
I passed it on to you.
You did. You
That's
gave
awesome.
me the disease. Did you bite
anymore.
my finger, Charlie? No. And she's talking, and he's talking about our gay bully dude.
And we should say it's funny like throughout because
yeah.
he like sits down and she's like, how'd it go with Larry? And he's like, nothing. What do you mean? Like he's instantly doing that Joss Whedon-y / just witty 90s like he's doing the thing. Stop pushing. And she's like, I just asked you a simple question. Like, what are you talking about?
Xander
It's funny.
is great,
Yes.
a great face actor, and Nicholas Brendan really owns some scenes. And the one where he's talking with Larry, saying like I've been where you are. I know that and he feels like he's coming out to him, and then he goes like, okay, I can call it to you.
Yeah.
And then it's like his face
probably
like
happened anyway.
I can't process.
What, you think you have a cure?
No, it's just... I know what you're going through because I've been there. That's why I know you should talk about it.
These things you're saying, it is too much. Like
Well,
the way his eyes like glass over and just like are like darting a bit.
Yeah, no, I want to give ups to Larry too because his when he says it and his body language changes.
Yes.
He spins around like, oh, I felt so good to like finally get that out. Thank you, man. And he starts doing all this stuff. You're like, what? And, like the character has now changed, and he's appeared multiple times.
Oh yes, he was the bully pirate.
And he like punched or like almost punched Xander and Buffy saved.
Buffy saved him.
He's been here a lot, and he's melted into the background for me. And now during this like monologue, he like flips it on. He's different.
Yes.
But he's not like super gay.
No,
he's
it's the
just
moment
like I'm comfortable with myself. I feel good.
He's
now,
approaching
right?
it
Cool.
appropriately like a person and not a character.
I am gay. I can't believe it. It was almost easy. I never felt I could tell anyone. And then you of all people, you bring it out of me.
And I do think that it is something worth calling out because yes, in this show you have a number of characters that are these just background supporting characters that have one or two lines here and there, and then just pull to forefront in different episodes, and they really rise to an occasion. And I wonder how much of that went into that first time. You're like, I've seen you for like 17 episodes, and now I find out you're actually a good actor, when you could have just been a background actor this whole time. So did we actually interview our background actors? Like, no, we're probably going to want you to do things. If I'm going to have background, I might as well have good background. And I'm like,
maybe it's just luck, though. Do you know? Do you have
I
any,
don't
insights?
know.
Okay,
I don't know. No.
Because it is literally like a two-dimensional background character getting pulled into the front to be a three-dimensional character.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever see him again, quite frankly, but I thought it was a cool enough thing to do here.
I do know
Probably we will.
I do know that Joss toyed with the idea of Xander being gay, and this was going to be one of those like, oh, okay, this could have been a moment, like type of things. Yeah, they plant a lot of seeds across the board that like things could go this way or that way, and ultimately he did not go in that direction. Okay. But it's fun to know
I'm
that
gonna put
like
a pin in that for some future stuff with Xander and see if that's
see if it pays off.
See if it's relevant there.
Indeed.
Yes, good time. Because I wonder when they decide, no, we're not going to do that anymore, right?
When it happens, I can tell you.
Excellent. Good. You put a pin in that too.
I will put a pin in that.
Yes, let's not jump to any conclusions.
I didn't jump. I took a tiny step, and their conclusions were.
So the last thing we got to talk about is like Willow is not only thirsty for Oz, she is thirsty for werewolf Oz.
Right?
She's not letting that get in the way.
Not a deal breaker,
No.
even though Xander points out like he's got to be house trained, he's going to bury stuff in the backyard. This is going to be horrible, and that's kind of shitty of him.
He does that kind of shitty thing constantly.
Yes.
And Xander is not in support of their relationship to begin with.
Right.
Again, his radar is pretty much on target all the time. Everyone that he has hated has eventually had a I'm going to kill you moment.
But he wasn't a werewolf yet when Xander hated him.
His spidey sense was fucking tingling.
He didn't already hate him, he just started hating him. I don't know.
That's the first time we really saw him vocalize deeply. Like they're like, what are they whispering? Or like, we're in a public forum here. Like he
That's
got
what
on
she
his
says,
shit.
Like I think you splashed on too much obsession for dorks.
Yes.
I'm like, obsession for dorks, like Willow. That's awesome. Good time.
But
Yes,
I like that
but
they
no.
do finally get their kiss.
It's great. And like to have her run back and do the kiss thing, I'm like, that's awesome. And she was kind of giggling a little, like maybe she, Allison Hannigan was like giggling maybe. I don't know. But I was like, that's awesome. I didn't love his line when he's like, a werewolf in love at the end. I'm like, that kind of sucks.
That was kind of But I think it was to balance out how good his I'm like, oh God, I'm a werewolf, like walking through school face was. Even though it happened like a day too late, because you needed that narratively for the plot, or else he couldn't have been out hunting himself the day before. Like, what? But I like, in general, Seth Green and what he brings to the table here. And I think that reaction and like him like oh no, Willow, like, oh, maybe you should distance yourself from me. It's not safe around me, blah, blah. And then her rising above that, like, no, I don't care about the risks. I love you.
He says something like, so obviously, like, we're going to, how's this going to work? Like, we're not going to be like, a thing. And she's like, bitch, like, what are you talking about?
You mean you'd still?
Well, I like you.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's awesome.
I want my smoochies in
I want the smoochies now. No, and I honestly really, last thing I guess, like I really appreciate that he wakes up naked in the woods, goes home, makes a phone call about, hey, is he a werewolf? There's no weird like, I was naked in the woods, and then to have like the whole crew be like, that's strange, he was naked in the woods, and then like 10 minutes later be like, wait, Oz was naked in the woods, maybe he's the werewolf, and there's all this dumb shit. Like he just instantly goes like, I think I know what this means. Oh no.
Uh-huh. Well, no reason. Thanks.
And there's no messing around the bush aspect, right? Which
just bluntly ask your relatives.
Which so I have to know more about the relatives. And is there a whole family of werewolves, like Harry and the Hendersons, just having a bunch of werewolves later, in the show? My fingers are going to stay crossed the whole time. But I'm just saying, this show has done other BS things where it's like, it's so
that might be the most
so
ballsy
obvious.
BS thing that we've seen so far, though.
Well, I mean, like sometimes it'll be super obvious, and then I'm at home like he's a robot. He keeps saying robot puns, and he's acting like a robot. And then finally he's a robot or whatever. Here, though, I liked the cutting to the chase. Maybe they did it for time or like necessity.
Maybe.
But there was no weird
They
like
could have cut a whole werewolf hunter and just put time into
I
that.
was naked in the woods. What does that mean? Like there was none of that. He just instantly was like, I think I know what that means. Wait a minute. I was recently bitten. Let's go investigate that, and starts making calls. Right?
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's pretty much everything that happened in this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Check us out next week for Season 2, Episode 16. Until then, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.